What's going on? It's your boy Jarrell coming to you on the night that the Lakers gonna bring home that championship. Um, as I said, my name's Jarrell. We appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. I know there's a lot of sports on, so for the people that are inside watching us live, we appreciate it. For all those that can catch it afterwards, we appreciate you as well. I know we talked. Fabe's going to talk about a special segment coming up in a little bit, but I just want to say if you guys have any questions, it doesn't matter when you want to put it in, throw it in that box. We will gladly try to answer it on that following week. So we thank you guys. My name's Jarrell, and I throw it to Dante.
Yo, man, this DP, D Peasy, Dante, D Payne, DP31. Yeah, all that. It's me. Appreciate y'all coming on and watching us, man. My boy Fave, he got it.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Fave here, uh, your third host of the Deep Third Sports Podcast. Appreciate you guys for tuning in today. We got some exciting stuff for you. So, real quick, make sure you guys put your questions, comments in because we got a segment for you guys at the end of the show. It's like the last 10 minutes of the show called Deep Thought. So, it's where we take your guys' questions, comments, anything like that. You put it in chat and we give you guys our deep thought. So don't forget to hit that like button, turn on the bell, and subscribe.
All right. Hey, just in case you didn't hear what he had said, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button right now. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, man. So let's go ahead and start this thing off right. Hey, actually, we also have another new segment that we're gonna have and that we're gonna be bringing to you guys today, in the future as well. We're gonna have different topics, just like a quick hitter, of things that's going on in the sports world. So, Jarrell's gonna go ahead and lead off.
Man, if people been sleeping under a rock, I get it, but there was a big scandal at the end of last year in baseball where a head coach got fired. It trickled down effect, and I'm talking about the Houston Astros cheating scandal, banging on the trash can. And here we are a year later with a new coach, new GM, and we're sitting here, and they've made it to the ALCS. I think that's fascinating. A lot of people that just called them cheaters, speaking about the Yankees, speaking about, and here the Yankees were paying all this money to a big name free agent, uh, former Pirate, uh, Garrett Cole, and here they are losing to Tampa Bay and didn't even get a chance to face the Houston Astros. So it's just funny to me. And in my opinion, I kind of want to throw this out to Fabe and Dante. You know, there's a time that you look at a team and you say that's talent. And I think every athlete I know is trying to get whatever edge he can get, however he can get it. And sometimes they take it a little too far. Tom Brady, the Patriots, doing things and taking it too far. But at the end of the day, what people failed to realize is the Houston Astros still had talent. They had Garrett Cole last year. Garrett Cole is now a Yankee, but yet they're still in a position to make it to the World Series. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but I just think it's fascinating. So, just my thought is, everybody's looking for an edge, and if they got away with it for years and years and years, hey man, that's on the league, that's on the players. Um, the biggest part for me is afterwards, all these players come out and say how wrong it was and all this and that. But yet, in the initial when it came out, there was players from every team said that they knew that this was going on. So you knew it was going on as a player on another team, but yet you didn't say anything. But yet when they get caught, now you want to ridicule and criticize them. So were y'all doing stuff too, but they're the ones that just got caught? Because if you were cheating and I knew about it on another team, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. I'm not letting that go. So I think it's funny that everybody jumped on the bandwagon, and here we are again. It doesn't matter they had a sub 500 record. Here we are again in the playoffs, the Astros, and the ALCS. Dante, I'll throw it to you or Fabe if y'all want to comment on anything. If not, Dante, you can hit your hot topic.
Nah, man, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm good with it. I think you did a great job of explaining what happened. You know what? Yeah, I will say a couple things. I mean, like you said, there's an old saying is if you're not cheating, you're not trying to win. And a lot of coaches go by that. I mean, you can look at it from the Patriots standpoint. You know, they do any and everything they can. They say, "Hey, don't cross this line," and so they put their foot as close as they can to the line. And when they cross that line, it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that we were supposed to do it. We couldn't do that." So it's just one of those things, man. You always are gonna have people trying to push the envelope, people trying to find um, ways to get away around the system. You think about it, what when it was like Mark, who was it? Mark McGuire, Sammy
Yep.
Sosa, Barry Bonds, the cats every night hitting 2 and 3 home runs, and baseball was sitting up high, and they was loving it. And there's not a doubt in my mind that they did not people did not think that was in a major league that were in the high
Yep.
office that did not know or did not say, something ain't right about this. How they hitting all these home runs? You know, but at the time, hey, people was coming to see those games. People was tuning in on TV. Revenue was coming in, and they was not about to say nothing. They wasn't gonna do nothing. And then on top of that, you had people that knew exactly what was going on, and they did not do anything, and they stood by, and they let it happen. But as soon as it came out, people started writing books and this and that. And, oh my gosh, I can't believe. But a lot of them cats already knew, and it's just one of those things. Like I'm not gonna say nothing. Now, if you get caught, hey, I gotta distance myself from you. But while we riding high, while everything is going good, I'm good. As long as everything is good, everything above water, I'm straight. But as soon as that boat starting to sink a little bit, oh yeah, I'm jumping off, and it is what it is.
Yep.
So that's all I got to say about it. Faye, you got anything?
Only thing I got with that is when the whole situation went down, to me, not surprised at all. I feel there's in every major league sport and probably on majority of the teams, there's some form of, I won't say complete cheating, but some form of underhandedness, I believe, go on. And it's just one of those things that we all don't know. And so if we were probably inside the NFL, MLB, probably even hockey, if we were inside these sports, we would probably actually be very surprised at a lot of the things that take place. Um, so it's just kind of one of those things. I think this is the age that we're in with social media and all that stuff. So it's very interesting how a lot of this stuff just comes out. And that's really all I got for it.
Truth.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, hey, so
Dante, hit us up, man. Hit us up.
yeah, man, I'm gonna hit you with this one hit a quitter real quick. So this is what is very interesting to me. All right. So I lived in basically Pittsburgh for the last 13 years, just moved back down to Florida. And the Browns are 4-1. Like the Browns. Talking about like toilet bowl Browns. The like when you say Cleveland Browns, like you just know that it's just terrible and it stinks. But these boys are 4-1. Last year they did not have the season that they thought they were gonna have. It was horrible. They got rid of Freddie Kitchens. He he wasn't in the kitchen cooking nothing. And they're tearing up pots and pans and burning up stuff in the kitchen. But they got rid of him and they got a new coach, and they are doing absolutely wonderful. They're doing as good. They're doing what a lot of people thought they should have did last year because I definitely had them
Yep.
beating the Steelers and making at least the playoffs. But these boys doing good. So man, they 4-1, and they are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers next week, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are 4-0. So this is going to be a huge game in the AFC North, and I'm excited. I hope I can get that channel. If not, I'm finding a way that I can watch that game because that game is going to be phenomenal. And if the Browns beat the Steelers, I wish I was in Pittsburgh so I could see the Steeler fans' face because I know they're gonna look like a bunch of sour grape. They're gonna look like they had sour grapes in their mouth because nobody ever wants to lose to the Browns, especially the
Fire
Steelers.
Mike Tomlin.
Um,
Fire
if
Mike
they,
Tomlin.
if they fire Mike Tomlin, they would be the dumbest organization. Um, if I was the Lions, I would be picking them up ASAP. Whoever my coach is, see you bye. Gone. Real talk.
I love it. Well, Dante, I mean, it's crazy to think the Browns, and I know you hear it all the time. Sometimes there's teams, and I think it was the Lakers back when they had Karl Malone and all those cats, everybody teaming up trying to win a chip, and they didn't win it. And it's like, if you just look at the names on the back of the jerseys, you'd be like, yo, that's Super Bowl team, or that's a NBA championship team. And then you got to put it on the field. And when they signed Odell, I thought for sure, I was like, oh, he gonna go there humble, whatever. And then they started talking last year, so I was like, okay, they must be nice or something. You know what I mean? They must ready to come out and rock the world. Just like a letdown. But this year, they were very, very, very quiet, extremely quiet when it came to talking this summer. You didn't hear very much coming out of the Cleveland Browns camp, and I mean, you kind of see they put their foot down and started grinding, and they're a dangerous team. The Ravens beat them early, but I think they gained a lot by that loss, and they've turned it. I think it's going to be crazy. But that whole division, you got the Ravens, one loss, the Steelers, undefeated, the Browns, one loss, and the Bengals. No need to talk about them.
Yeah, the
So
Bengals.
that's all I got to add. Fabe, you got any? Dwayne Haskins? So, so Faye, I think there are times where I'd be like right with you. And Dwayne Haskins, I think he made the biggest mistake by coming out of college when he did. Obviously, he had a good year, and a lot of quarterbacks come in while they're riding high. but I think he just hadn't had that seasoning. It was really his only year of production. And yes, it was great. Yes, it was at Ohio State. But at the end of the day, NFL defense is going to be a lot different than a Big Ten defense. And, you can see some promise in some guys. But I remember that year when I watched Ohio State versus Purdue, and Purdue, wasn't supposed to win. They were heavy underdogs, and they just took it to them. And I didn't see a leader. I didn't see a guy that could galvanize a team. Um, so he comes in the draft and gets picked by Washington. Um, the issue that I would say is that Jay Gruden didn't want him. The owner wanted him. So that's where I think it started, because if I don't want you, in my opinion, I'm not saying coaches do this, but if I'm a head coach and I don't want you and I put in any and everybody else that I can above you, am I coaching you? Am I teaching you? Am I allowing you to grow? I'm not going to say that he can't do it on his own, but I don't think the coach was going out of his way to him, help him. And again, you're talking about the NFL. You're talking about I eat you because that's their paycheck, right? They intercept that ball. Okay, I just added a couple more zeros onto my next deal. So I think that's different. And then you get Ron Rivera, who just came in this year. And I think Ron Rivera was open to allowing him to compete and allowing him to do that. But you're so far behind the eight ball, man. I mean, you got guys that's learning. He didn't have a savvy veteran under. He didn't have anybody like that. Tua has Fitzpatrick. Um, you look at these guys, and the the placement in which, or the teams in which they are placed, makes a huge impact on the outcome. We look at Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken, came up to pick him, but he didn't go to one of the sorry teams that has a third, fourth year, fifth year guy that can't hack it in the league. He went into a good situation. Tom Brady went into a good situation. So I think he went into a bad situation. I am mad at Ron Rivera because the the part that I read was 2 games ago, or I guess 3 games ago, he had a bad game, and they needed to see improvement. And then obviously not this week, but the week before, he didn't have a terrible game. They played absolutely awful. He had a decent game, and then he got benched. That's the only part where I'll say I was frustrated, because I'm looking at it like, you told him that you needed to see improvement, but yet he didn't have a horrible game. He didn't have a great game, and then you go ahead and bench him. So to me, it sounds like there was something there that they were already thinking him. And if you're saying, Fabe, what came across about he wasn't getting along or he wasn't doing the things they needed to do, that could be that added incentive to sit his butt on the bench.
Yeah. Well, they said they hit that
Dante,
they've gotten a couple calls already for him.
yell at me, bruh.
I mean, that is definitely crazy, Fade, that you brought that up. I haven't heard that yet, so that's the first of me hearing it, and it is kind of sad, but everybody know, man, that's just how it is, man. If you're not getting the job done, even in college, I think the only place where this does not happen is at the high school level, where you have people that are not performing and they continue to play. But even in the college, if you're not performing, coaches will get your butt out of there so quick, because at the end of the day, they're like, man, this is how I feed my family. And so, I love you, but hey, I can't get fired over your nonsense or what you're not performing. But at the same time, he really didn't have a good shake at it. I know he played a lot last year, towards the end of the season and stuff like that. But like you said, he's young still, and he has to have time to develop. And unfortunately, he played for the Washington Redskins. It's not a good organization. It's it's like
Mm.
it's like playing for the Browns 5 years ago. It's terrible. Like I mean, I don't know what else to say about it, man. It's just horrible. And I know he's from the area, and I know he wanted to go there, but if I was him, I'm like, man, please anywhere else other than the Browns and the Washington Redskins, because you have a person there that's an owner. He doesn't even care. He's like Bob Nutting for the Pirates, which is ridiculous because the Pirates they had a lot of good talent on the team, and he care less about who's on the team. He just want people to come to the games. But at the same time, it's like, well, you need to put people on the roster to make people come out. You need to put good quality players on the team and pay them so that that people come and watch the games and that you can win. But him and Bob Nutting, they're the same. To be honest, so you got Bob Nutting, you got Daniel Snyder, and the guy that's the Cleveland Cavaliers head coach, and New
Oh,
York,
Dan Gilbert.
Dan Gilbert, and whoever's the owners for the Knicks. They could care less
Yeah, that
about
bum.
whatever they do. They just want people to come and spend money at their facilities. Other than that, they good. And unfortunately, when you go to those kind of organizations, um, it's just gonna be a long road. So I hope he get out of there and go somewhere where he could be appreciated. I think he could be a really good quarterback. Um, he just needs some time. Like you said, he probably shouldn't have stayed. He probably should have stayed one more year to get his game up or whatever. But people they have a good year and they try to capitalize on it, and I don't blame him for it. He get paid.
Yeah.
So
Hey, it. I got two quick points. The first one about getting paid. You right, but just ask RG3. Now I'm not saying RG3 should have stayed, but would RG3 take his first contract, or would he want to be Kirk Cousins right now, who got fourth round and got $82 million guaranteed? Oh, hold on, that's a 3-year deal. Now 2 years on the franchise tag, making 25, and if I'm not mistaken, close to 26 million. So 50 plus 82. Robert Griffin, his first contract wasn't for that much. So yeah, it's nice to capitalize on that money, but it's again, it goes back to, do you want that money now, and do you really want to work for it, or are you okay with saying, you know what, I'm gonna go back and hone my skills? We'll talk about that part a little bit later when we talk about Miami, because well, I shouldn't say Miami, Clemson and Miami, because Travis Etienne from Clemson did that very thing and came back, and I think he's going to be a better player for it. The second part, when you talked about Bob Nutting, so let's think about this, right? It's crazy. You have Tyler Glass now, who just playing for Tampa, right? In
yep,
the finals. You have, I think it was J.A. Happ for the New York Yankees, Garrett Cole for the New York Yankees, um, Starling Marte played for the Marlins, um, and the guy who hit a home run, I can't remember his name, Austin Meadows, for plays for Tampa, and all of them were Pirates. All of them were Pirates. Come
yep.
on, I mean, that's just right there on championship caliber teams. And I know there's more that I missed. It's just crazy to think how you let that type of talent walk out the door because you're so worried about that revenue sharing in the MLB where you're going to make money and you don't really care. But if you actually put something into it, the guys you had in your farm system, you could have been making money hand over fist, but you don't want to put the investment in. But we'll drop it at that, Dante, if you want to holla at us into a topic.
Yeah. Before we go into the topic, the other thing too is that I'm going to be excited to see. This will be the first game Miles Garrett has played against the Steelers since the incident of the helmet throwing. And the crazy thing is, I remember everybody blowing up, talking about it, he getting suspended, and I don't even remember even hearing, "Hey, he got reinstated. He's ready to play." I don't remember even hearing it or seeing anything. But this is going to be the first game that he is going to have an opportunity to play against the Steelers. So before we go on to the topic, I just want to get y'all take. What are your predictions? How do you think he's going to play? Do you think he's going to go off, or do you think he's just going to like it's just going to be an average game for him?
I didn't think about that, Dante, but I'm gonna say this right now. The Browns about to spank them. The Browns is about to spank them. I I think Miles is gonna have a chip on his shoulder. I know it's a new year. He's a leader of that team. He got a lot of edgy guys. I, hey, listen. My wife love Pittsburgh, and I love my wife, but they about to get. I think they gonna get dug. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Wow, that's crazy to think and say about the Browns beating the Steelers. That don't even sound right. It literally don't even sound right. I think he's gonna have a good game. I don't know if it'll be anything that'll be like player of the week, but I do think he'll have some added motivation to get stuff done. But then think about it though, because that quarterback, when that whole situation went down, he's not, that quarterback isn't necessarily the one in the game, right? It's Big Ben. So, I mean, I know it's still against them, so he'll still have some motivation or whatever. I think it'll be with where the Browns are at right now. It's definitely going to be a good game for sure.
Yes, but you have to remember too. So he's not going to be in, but Pouncey's going to be in there, and Pouncey was trying to punch on him.
True.
So you had a bunch of stuff like that happening. So it's gonna. I think he's gonna go off. I think he's gonna be probably one of the bigger reasons on the defense side of the ball that they're going to hem up Ben and force Ben to throw picks. Um, Especially if they can get Greedy Williams back, their corner. I know he's been out for the last 2 weeks, but if they get him back, I'm not sure what his injury. I can't remember what his injuries were, but if they get him back, I think Miles Garrett is gonna go off, um, and I think they're gonna beat the Steelers again. Yeah, I think they're gonna beat the Steelers. That should be the name of the segment or this show today. The Steelers getting beat by the Browns. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the topics. All right, so for the first topic, um, Jimmy Butler. All right, so we know the game right now. The NBA Finals is going on for Game 6 right now, and last time I checked, or Jarrell told us that the Heat is getting their tails mollywop. So hopefully they'll get it together
87-63. 87-63. 9 minutes left to go in the game.
in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Man. Hey man, they gonna need them. They gonna need somebody to go down, foul out or something. But I was hoping that the Heat would end up winning, but doesn't look like that. But so we know that they are going through their game 6 now. But last game 5, we want to talk about Jimmy Butler versus LeBron. What were your thoughts on how the game went? Who was the MVP of that game? And so what are your thoughts on it?
Ooh, I mean, first I gotta say is wow. I mean, as an NBA fan, that was a game to behold. It wasn't high scoring where guys were just having their way all over the court. I mean, there was some grit, grind, there was some bumping, there was some bruising. I remember towards the end of the game, Jimmy had a drive, got fouled on it, and like just kind of leaned over the little railings that they have. Like, and then I saw a little somebody did a video in the after game. He was at the podium. He got up from the podium and it was like day two sore. Not that first day, but that day two sore when you really can't get up and walk. Um, he looked like an old man. But I mean, I think obviously there's other players in the game, but that game was a lot of Jimmy versus LeBron. Uh, they were going at each other. They were, fighting through screens. And in all honesty, I mean, LeBron did LeBron, but I think Jimmy did Jimmy better than LeBron did LeBron. Um, we expect that from LeBron. We don't necessarily expect that from Jimmy. Now, here's what I'll say. Even though Jimmy got the best of him last game, which I just told you guys what the score was, that is why LeBron is the king. Because the Heat had to work that hard in order to get that win. Jimmy had to work that hard to get that win. And later, they can't hack it. The Lakers can hack it. And that's where I think you're talking about two different levels as far as skill. Yes, Miami has talent. They can do what they need to do, but they're not going to be able to do it in a hard-hitting series like the Lakers because you can't make mistakes and you got to grind so hard. I think it's that old adage of like the NCAA tournament. You can beat anybody for one game, but that's why the NBA doesn't do those knockout games because you got to beat somebody for a series. That's why baseball doesn't do one game because you got to beat somebody for a series. Football is the only sport where, for the most part, after 60 minutes, you're going to find who the best team is. I can't say that for all other sports. But it was amazing to watch two high level basketball players. And honestly, I think Jimmy put himself on the map. I think before Jimmy was a journeyman that made teams better, but I wouldn't necessarily say a leader. And I think this showed that I'm a lead by example. Jump on my back, follow me, and I'm gonna take y'all where we need to go. Fade.
Um, Actually, I'll toss it to Dante. So I really didn't see the game, but hearing about it, what went on with Jimmy Butler and stuff like that, it goes back to kind of what I talked about a couple weeks ago before the final started. That I hope that Jimmy Butler at least, is able to use this platform for his story to be told and stuff like that. And so now by him showing up, he's showing up and showing out. So nobody can't say Jimmy Butler didn't put his best foot forward, to try to get the team a win. So I think that's great. So I'll toss it to you, Dante.
All right. Yeah, man. So, but Jimmy Butler, he had 35 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. Um, LeBron, he had 40 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists. So, very similar and close in numbers. I thought that Jimmy definitely put his team on his back. LeBron definitely put his team on his back. They just couldn't get it done. It was just their night. Everything that they were doing was just like the cat shooting threes from the perimeter. They were just knocking them down like left and right. And the Lakers could not get a shot to fall. And that's basically what hurt them and why they end up couldn't. That's why they couldn't win. Um, so I'm kind of disappointed because I definitely wanted this to go to Game Seven. I definitely wanted Heat to win and beat the Lakers. I just thought they would. But looking at it now, they definitely had some key injuries that did not help them. And they also needed a big man. I think if they would have had a big man, I think that they would have had a better chance of being able to maybe make it go the distance. But however, with them making it to Game 6 with the roster that Miami had, with the injuries that they had coming into the finals, that says a lot. And so I'm very uh, surprised that it went this far, because they had what, like three, I want to say at least like three major injuries, that they had to try to overcome, and they almost still pushed it to 7 games. So, um, man, hey, the Heat, they gonna be something to reckon with. If they can keep that team together and get one big man, it's gonna be a nice squad.
Yeah, Dante, I think you kind of touched on it. I think the Heat were missing some pieces. And listen, I love Bam Adebayo, but at at the end of the day, that's one. The one thing I will say is I was shocked that Kelly Olynyk didn't play a little bit more after the shoot. Um, I think what made it easy is Bam is kind of a on the block down low player, and what I think that did, because Kelly Olynyk, you can pick him, um, not a pick and roll. So Bam in a pick and roll is going to pick and come towards the hoop. Kelly Olynyk is going to pick and he's going to come to the 3 point line. Well, why do I say that? Well, you got 7 footers that are centers, them from the paint. Now you don't have Dwight Howard sitting there ready to block a shot. You don't have, I'm not going to say LeBron. Yeah, because LeBron played some five. Um, you don't have him sitting there. You don't have Davis sitting there. You don't have a lot of these guys being in the paint ready to block a shot. And I think that's where they need that stretch five, like that shoot the three, but as constructed. And I know that we didn't get to see much of it. Mr. Nunn, which he was starting obviously I think before the bubble started, and then once the bubble started, I think he had an injury if I'm not mistaken, and kind of came back and couldn't get in rhythm. But he's an undrafted guy that looks like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I like the team. I like the way they're built and constructed. I think they just need another knockdown shooter, a three, a stretch 3-4, and a center for sure.
So
Yeah,
let's assume Lakers go ahead and close it out. If AD comes back, repeat.
they got to get they
I
got to
would
get more pieces, in my opinion.
More
And
pieces than AD and LeBron.
yes, yes, because they don't really have anybody. I can
they
definitely
need a
see.
true point guard.
I think Rondo is good. I think they need a better shooting
Rondo's
guard.
Rondo's the backup. Rondo's the backup. They
So
need a starter,
who
and
who did they have as the
so Caruso is a starter, and then Rondo is supposed to be the bench guy. Rondo's supposed to be the set to get that second unit as far as dishing and passing and setting everything up. That's what he was supposed to do this year. Obviously, they needed him. I will say I don't know if Avery Bradley is under contract next year. I think them not having Avery Bradley in the playoffs really hurt them.
Yeah.
But I mean, they they got to get what I would say younger, and I think a second small forward because Kyle Kuzma is not the answer. So he would be my trade piece. The issue is he's still on that rookie contract, so you're gonna have to be you're gonna have to work some magic.
Yeah.
But the way the team is currently constructed with Avery Bradley, if they could make a run in the playoffs, um, I don't know if they could win it all with just these guys again.
Yeah, I don't think they could. I think LeBron could get them to the playoffs. AD can help them get to the playoffs, but I don't know about winning. Like I said, I think they would need a couple more pieces, because they just don't have it. They just don't have it. But congrats, man, to LeBron. He a beast, man. The boy is a beast. So big ups to him. What it's like, what 18th season. Um, he the man. He the man. So
The best ever. The
I ain't
best
say, I ain't
ever.
saying all that. He's the best in my lifetime.
The best. Jordan was in your lifetime, so the best ever. Say it, Dante. Say it. The
I'm
best ever.
I'm not saying that because if Jordan would have played as
Hey,
many
hey, hey.
finals as LeBron did, Jordan had more rings. Say it with me. More
Listen,
rings.
listen. Come on, man. So we giving Jordan credit for saying y'all letting go of Phil Jackson. I quit. I quit.
He, hey, that's what you as a champion, as a when you on top. That's when you want to walk away when you're on top.
You
What
you are in your prime, or well, I shouldn't say that. You might be towards the twilight of your prime, and you choose to quit rather than say, you know what, Phil Jackson's not back, but let's run this back. That goes.
listen,
It was the coach more than the player. It
Mm.
was the coach more than the player.
listen, listen. I'm not saying that Phil Jackson did not help. Um, however, um, you do need good coaches, because as a player, you can only do so much. You can't do everything. You don't have time to put the game plan together and do the X's and O's. Yeah, you don't have time for that. So yeah, you do need good coaches. That's what we were talking about as far as Tom Brady and Belichick. Which one's going to have a greater season? Because is it that Tom Brady did so well because of Belichick, or did Belichick do so well because of Tom Brady? And we both can see that just by this year, hey, they both are just really good at what they do. Belichick is doing decent. The Bucks, we on our way. We should have won that game Thursday, but we on our way. So, I agree. Yes, Phil had a part in it, but at the end of the day, Jordan had to go make these shots, baby. Phil wasn't going knocking nothing down. He wasn't coming off the screen like, "Hey, give me the thing." Nah, he wasn't doing that. That was
Oh, he
yo.
wasn't pushing off either, huh?
Here you go. What's that?
Hey,
Hater? What you drinking? Hater?
hey,
What?
listen. I ain't trying to gang up on you, bro. I ain't trying to gang up. I,
Hold up. Hold up. Yeah, Phil Jackson won't push nothing off. Hey, it's not my fault that the dude was so intimidated by Jordan's athletic ability. He was trying to beat him to the spot, and Jordan said, "Oh, hold up, you trying to beat me? Sit back, splash in your mouth." Not my fault. Not Jordan's fault either.
hey, all I gotta say is Jordan is that dude, but LeBron is that dude. I mean, and his story's not even written. Nothing. He can never get past 6 championships. He can never get past six in a row. Hasn't won all this and that. But what we will never, because people want to say, oh, LeBron, some of his don't count because he went to Miami and teamed up. Listen, I get it. I understand what people want to say. All I got to say, until Phil Jackson took over and stood up to Michael and said, you need to become a teammate and not just a dynamic scorer, which he was, you will not do anything until you become a teammate. Once he became a teammate, 6 years in, he became a champion. But we're not going to go on this. We talked about this a while ago. It, it came on the backs of the Celtics, the Lakers, the Pistons being at the end of their prime and Jordan entering his prime. Closed case, drop my done.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay. You know what? We'll talk about that later. Whatever. Anyways, there was a football game. I don't know if y'all saw today. Just real quick. I don't know if y'all saw this. Kansas City lost to the Raiders. The Raiders gave them their first loss. How about that? I know my brother's upset if he was watching the game because he's a Kansas City fan. But yeah, that's
Hey.
that was
These things happen.
It was a perfect storm. The Raiders. I didn't get to watch the whole game, but I keep track of it. My man Eric Harris. I coached his brother, high school football. Met him. Started following his story. He's an amazing dude, amazing Christian. Just so long story short, I was following the game on my phone, and I'm like, okay, they sticking with him. Okay, they sticking with him. And then they took the lead, okay, and then they scored again. I'm like, okay, and they ended up winning the game. I did get to see towards the end of the game, with I think about 6 minutes or so left, and it looked different. The Kansas City didn't look like playing with confidence. Um, and I don't know, it's a regular season game. They were at home. I don't know what it was, but they just didn't seem like the Kansas City that I saw against Baltimore that was dialed in on every single play. I don't know if they thought it was the Raiders and, we got this, but the Raiders played really, 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 really well. And John Gruden looked like a magician out there calling plays. And that's all I'll say about that one.
How do you think John Gruden's doing so far this year overall?
Mm. I would say great. I would say great. I mean, they let's see, did they beat Saints and they've beaten Kansas City now. The biggest thing for John Gruden, which is why he got Antonio Brown last year, is he was looking for that speedster, and he got Henry Ruggs, and he just had a 74-yard touchdown today. He was looking for that guy. Who knows what they would have looked like last year if they would have had him.
Yeah. Yeah, so they beat the Panthers and the Saints. And then they lost to the Patriots and the Bills. That's another team people are going to be sleeping on. The Bills. 4-0.
Bills Chiefs next week. Bills
4-0.
Chiefs. I think it's Bills Chiefs next week or the week after.
Let's see.
Oh, that should be good.
No, so yeah, next week they play the Chiefs, but they got to go through the Titans, which are the Titans are 3-0 as well. So another the Bills are 4-0 and the Titans are 3-0. So that's gonna be a good game. I can't wait. I want to see that game.
I need to know. Both of y'all play defense. Are y'all stepping up and tackling Henry?
Yes, I will put my helmet right on his shin.
And
I
go ahead.
as my college coach would say, as soon as that leg plant, you take it out. It's not my fault he's not wearing the right colors.
And Faye, the answer for me would be absolutely not. I am going to think about my money later, not right now, because If I'm not on the field, I don't get paid no money. I was already an ankle biter. So hey man, listen, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I bit ankles. You come at me, I bite ankles. Now, if we going downfield, I'm okay with you. I mean, we can work on some things, but nah, man. Protection of my future. Protection of my future.
And you know what? Anyways, though, he runs high though, bro. So I might
But
try
he's
to. I might try
power,
to.
man. He's so
I
much
might.
power.
I might try to get the helmet underneath the chair one time.
He does run high. He does run real high. But
I
it
probably
but it's
grab
so
him.
hard because how he's moving, man. It's so it's so different because he's a power guy that even if you put a good licking on him, he still got you. I think I was watching something where he was working out, and I mean the dude's pulling a truck. I mean that's stuff that football players do. I mean, big D linemen. I
Yeah.
see them trying to, but this dude is just, I mean, he's a beast, and I think he doesn't pose a threat. I think like some of those short, compact guys do as far as putting their head down and running you over. He's just gonna run through you. He's just gonna say, "You're a brick wall. I'm gonna stand straight up, and I'm gonna run through you because it don't matter what you do."
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, he's a he's a beast. And just watching the Alabama game, which I was surprised. I was hoping that Lane Kiffin beat them. He came close, but they got another running back that looks just like Mark Henry. I mean, Henry.
Najee Harris.
Yes, and he runs just like him, same build, and it's just like ridiculous. It's like, man, where do they get these cats from?
It don't matter. He just be like Alabama,
Where
and they come.
they?
But that's fine. Dion about to change that.
Got it?
Showtime.
Well, it's funny. The only one he did not get was Leonard Fournette, who went to LSU. I don't know why his little dumb butt went to LSU, but he's the only one that didn't say, "Hey, I'm going to Alabama."
I think because he always wanted to go there, and with him being a Louisiana kid, like most people from that area, that's their dream is to go to LSU.
All I know is his mama wasn't happy.
Really?
I mean,
Oh, his mama, Leonard Fournette's mama was boy when he chose that hat, he would. She was looking like, boy, what you doing? And his choice, his choice. It's over. It's over. LA
It's
Lakers, baby.
over.
It's over, baby. It's over.
The Kane.
oh man, he's
The Kane.
but
Fade, you want to take us with some questions? If we got
yeah.
any.
Go ahead.
So the first question: why was Coach Bill O'Brien fired?
He was fired because he was awful and he accepted a GM position as well as head coach. And he literally let Jadeveon Clowney walk out the door, let his best receiver walk out the
Keep going.
and blew what I would probably say is one of the biggest leads in the playoffs that you have no. And he was awful. He when Hopkins said that he had a conversation about his baby's mamas. Listen, that's a place you don't go with another man. That's another place that you don't go. I don't care if you agree or you don't agree. You say I don't agree. You want to go talk about a man's children and the women in his life? Nah, man. And then I think lastly, what did it? I guess him and J.J. Watt got into a little spat. I think the week that they played the Steelers, and I think that was a listen. J.J. Watt is the Texans.
Yep.
Is the Texans. So, but it's okay. I think Deshaun Watson going to stay healthy. I can't remember who it was, but Penn State when he was there had a number one recruit, and he basically injured him into the ground, and he came into the league with the Jets and never did anything. I can't remember his name, but he should have been fired. He should have been let go. And I don't like coaches being fired, but when you add the GM to your name and you don't improve your roster, that's a problem. That's not coaching. That's a problem.
I feel like it's an ego thing.
Yep.
I think ego plays a big part in that. It was probably from a distance looking like it was a lot of his way and his beliefs and stuff like that. All that matters, you talk about a man's kids, it's that all that matters is, am I showing up and performing? Yeah. That's it. That at the end of the day, it's a job, it's a business. Am I showing up? Am I performing? That makes me think like, I gotta go on a little rant here real quick, but that makes me think like, at some of these jobs, when people talk about like your Facebook, and like if you're friends with people on Facebook at your job and stuff, and they want to talk about stuff you post, if you're not posting about your job or in a negative fashion, then what you do is your business. So what you do outside of your 9 to 5 is your business. And Bill O'Brien was getting past that.
Yep.
I agree. Like as far as the GM side, to lose those pieces, it'd be different if he would have gotten something and succeeded with that, because those are some really good players, and that's what you got to show for it. Like I know your belief in Deshaun and all that stuff, but you take away one of his biggest pieces that he bonded with. Like, come on.
And best friends. There
you go. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, because they did go to college together, didn't they? Or they went to the same college?
Right. No, Hopkins wasn't at the same time, but they were good friends.
But he did go to Clemson, right?
Hopkins.
I don't think he went to. I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too. I thought he did.
Yeah, he went to Clemson.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah, you got a lot of
maybe
stuff.
Maybe he did throw him passes.
They might have been together for like a season.
Maybe, yeah, because I think he had Taj
Boyd.
Yeah, I think he was
before the Clemson era started.
Yeah, he was right before Watkins. So, but you know what? He should have got fired because, for one, who are you to be the head coach and the general manager? I don't know no other head coach that's the head coach and the general manager. Like, actually, the owner that signed off on this, he should be fired. He should fire himself, because why would you even do that? You put yourself in harm's way. Like, that is a conflict of interest. So as a head coach, I have a problem with you. I don't like you. Guess what? You out of here, because I don't like you. I'm the general manager. So I think that the head coaches should have some say so who they will probably want, but the general manager should have the last say so. And so, yeah, if he's getting rid of people like that, yeah, you should be fired. And then on top of that too, you are the head coach there. This is okay. So this is a problem. So you have problems with other players. Nothing really happened. And you have a problem with JJ Watt, and then something happened. Interesting.
But JJ Watt is Mr. Texan, and I think that it shouldn't have took that. It shouldn't have took that, but I think that took the cake.
But it shouldn't. I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure they are jumping up for joy that he's out of there. If I was the Texans, I'll be flying to Pittsburgh and talking with Mike Tomlin.
Do you
That's what
think?
I would be doing.
I don't think Mike Tomlin will ever leave the Steelers unless he retires or is fired.
Fade, 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 fade. I listen. I enjoyed every last second that I was over on that side of Western Pennsylvania. I I would go back in a heartbeat. I will tell you, I have never been more angry at a fan base that Mike Tomlin has done nothing but win as a Steeler. But yet every year, lose two games or lose three games or lose in the playoffs, fire him, fire him, fire him. The the Steelers have had three coaches in their entire history. Three. And Mike Tomlin is one of them. That means that you went through ups and downs with the two prior coaches, and Bill Cowher had some losing seasons,
Yeah, he did.
but yet nothing. And then you get Mike Tomlin, and you talking about a job status when you've only had three coaches. Come on, Pittsburgh, good, great coach, but yet you trying to run him out of town every second that he loses one game or two games. He was down to his third string slash fourth string quarterback last year and still almost made the playoffs.
The
Come
kicker,
on, man.
the kicker was playing quarterback.
Come on, man.
Do you guys think
That
you'd be
that
that kind of
that's all
owner?
I gotta say.
Like
I
where
would.
if you had a team that you would do your best to try to stick with the coach?
I would. I would like to say that I would hope I could run my team as a tweener between Pittsburgh and the now, because I think when you find a coach and you invest in a coach, then you need to have a GM along with your coach that finds the same type of players, the guys that are motivated not by me but by we. And I think that's the difference in football. You can be a me person in other sports. I think when it comes to football, it's very hard to be a me because the more me, the more in, the more we, the more success we have, which then gets you financially secured on the back end. If Faye, Dante, we talk about sports. Would you rather play with a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning, or would you rather just go get that big contract? It sounds great, OBJ, to go get that big contract, but what did you win? Nothing. Where are you at in the limelight? Oh, you're only in the limelight because you got nice hair and all this other stuff. Other than that, and you talk too much. Other than that, OBJ is just another receiver, right?
Yeah.
But if you're playing with Tom Brady, you're playing with a Peyton Manning who's dishing that ball, throwing that out, and you're getting stats and you're getting wins, that means your team is being talked about more. Sammy Watkins said it before. He had a chance where he could have left because it was a contract. He said, "Why would I go anywhere else when I have Patrick Mahomes throwing me the ball? My career is going to be extended."
Yeah.
To be
Period.
honest, I would take the money and go to the good place because I would be worth it. I want both.
Ain't going to happen.
Show me my money. Show me the money.
Well, would you? What about the owner question, Dante? Would you be, like the Steelers, and through thick and thin, kind of be with the coach through the ups and the downs?
I think when you, this is my honest opinion. So I think that if you stick with the same coach, as long as he did not lose the locker room and everybody still respected him and they still would follow him and they would still play for him, I would want to have that consistency because when you look at these other cats that I'm trying to think who's the quarter, Jameis Winston. He had a bunch of different coaches coming in and out. Who else? It was another quarterback that had so many coaches coming in and out.
Any
And so
quarterback for Cleveland?
Cleveland, yeah, that's definitely a good one. Um, when you have like situations like that where it's not stable, it makes it hard to build something. At least if that's why I was upset that Florida State got rid of Taggart because I'm like, you got rid of him. He's only been there for a year and a half, but now we got a new coach in, and he's getting his butt blown out because he has to come in and bring in his own people and redo this and do that. But if you would have had him staying there, it could have been a lot better of a year. Um, and then you can just build upon that. But nowadays, like you said, man, people just they just want it right now. I want that microwave dinner right now. I don't want to wait for it. I don't want to have to build. I want it right now. And unfortunately, that's just not how it is. But I would rather have something that's going to be consistent. As long as the coach, I know the coach is working hard. He's getting the kids. He's getting the team to work for him and to play for him. I would want that consistency because I think that's ultimately where you're going to flourish and where you're going to be a winner. Because you don't always just have like a coach that come in 1 or 2 years and then boom, you're in the Super Bowl. Or like that doesn't necessarily happen. Like you have to build into that, and it takes time. And so yeah, you're gonna take some lumps. Especially the first maybe 2 years, just because the players trying to get used to the coaching system and all of that. But I would definitely try to my best to keep it consistent.
Yeah, I agree with that. That would kind of be a big proponent for me is whether he still has the locker room or not. So if it's the first year and it's a losing season, well, how did the team respond in each loss, and how are they responding from the overall season as a whole, and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with that. That would be a big proponent in whether I would want to move forward with a coach because I do too believe in that consistency and giving them the opportunity to succeed. Because to me, you are there as the owner, like a Robert Kraft is kind of where it's like, okay, I'm entrusting you whatever my checkbook is. Okay, I'm entrusting you to go out, put the pieces together, and do your thing. I would want to give the coach and the GM free reign to do what they need to do, and I wouldn't want to, meddle in that and stuff like that, like a, Jerry Jones.
Jerry,
So
Jerry.
here here's the part that I that I would say is I don't I don't really I don't really like the term, whether somebody has the locker room. I think a coach having the locker room has to do more with a player's hand in management's ear, or the
So like the leaders
all
or
the
like a captain.
decision making, everyone. And that's what I don't like, and that's what I don't want to play into, because I don't care if there's guys that don't like you in the locker room. At the end of the day, you're being paid to play a sport, and it shouldn't matter who's standing in front of you. If you're not going to play hard for him, then that tells me that you are weak. And I mean weak, not strong. I mean weak minded. So that means, oh, we're down in the game. Are you going to give it your all, or are you going to give up? Oh, your teammate don't like something you did. Okay, are you going to shut that teammate out? So if the quarterback and you are having beef, he throws you the ball. You going to drop the ball on purpose because you got beef? I, th- that's what I don't like, and that's what there's a ton of stuff in sports where it's like, uh, We don't like this coach anymore. What? No, it's not about that. It's about the X's and O's. And is the coach doing what he needs to do, scheme, X's and O's, and keeping up with, I'm not saying the players as far as their attitudes, but in college, keeping up with the players, making sure that they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing day in and day out. Do you have a pulse on that? You don't need a pulse on what they're doing, making sure they're doing everything right, but a pulse on the players. And I don't need you to like your coach because a good coach probably won't be liked very often unless they're, I mean, except for wins, except for championships. But a good coach should not be liked.
You know who you
Well,
made me think of when you talked about players not catching the ball? You made me think of freaking T.O. and Donovan McNabb because they could have been great together if they would have got their out of both their heads. To this day, you still don't know what the heck happened between them two, but they could have been great.
it was part of T.O. fault, most likely. Most likely, it probably was T.O. fault. But Jarrell, I push back a little bit. I don't think you're right on that. I think that because all right, we think about it like for instance, because definitely being in football and basketball, you have a lot of coaches that are um, the minority, and you have the majority that are black, and most coaches are white. And so you might not like your coach because of something that he might stand for or believe in. And we definitely see that that plays a big part. And and so when I say keeping the locker room, I'm talking more about respect because we all know that if I don't respect you as a coach, I'm not gonna play for you. If I don't like you and if I don't feel like you care, and I think that's what it mainly come down to because once a player sees that you don't care and it's just about the X's and it's just about the O's, they're not gonna play. They gonna be like, man, nah. But when they actually see that you actually care and they know that you have their best interest in mind, they're gonna play for you. They're gonna do whatever it takes. They'll run through a big brick wall. And I know you've seen that from coaching, and I definitely seen that from coaching as well. Is that when players know and they know who care and who doesn't. They know what you believe in and what you don't believe in. Once they find that out, and if they don't like what you like or they not rocking with it, it's gonna be hard pressed. And we see that all the time where coaches get forced out because the players force them out because they the superstar.
So while I agree with most of what you said, I, I still think that's the problem in sports is that athletes have too much of a voice when it comes to that aspect when you're talking about, you know, at the end of the day, you have a job to do. Everybody in America would be fired if they didn't perform their job because they didn't like the person that they were working for.
True.
Go get another, go find a new team if that's what you feel. At the end of the day, what I'm going to say is, and this is a personal thing for me, what I'm going to say is, I will talk about Oppressor. I don't agree with what he's saying. I don't like what he's doing. I don't do anything. But at the end of the day, if my paycheck is paid on today for the job that I am doing, I am going to do my job to the best of my ability. Because if I don't do my job as a professional athlete, I'm at liberty now to lose my income because there's going to be teams that's like, okay, well, he doesn't have it anymore because I'm dropping 10 tackles.
Oh, excuse
I'm not playing hard for a coach. So I think that give and go with players, I think they have way too much power when it comes to it's like this is who you're going to play for. If you can't get on it, okay, we'll bench you. We'll trade you if we can, and that's what it is. But it's not going to happen because players make a lot of these teams a lot of money. You're not going to get rid of Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes is making X amount of money. I'm not saying it's right, but I think that's where we are in sports today.
Mm.
LeBron is making way too much money. Your coach, what, probably $5 million. Okay, well, LeBron's making, 6, 7 times that. In the NFL, Patty Mahomes is going to be making, probably 4 or 5 times what Andy Reid is making. So, who's the easiest person? I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but that's just the way we are in sports because there's a lot of money that is in sports. Same thing in college. When they get rid of these dudes too quick because too many of their boosters is like, oh, we ain't gonna give y'all no more money. Get rid of this dude, and then you go get rid of him, and then you're still terrible. Texas, Texas, still terrible. Texas, Texas, Florida State, terrible, terrible. Sorry.
Listen, Miami just started to be okay. Calm down.
Did not get rid of a coach in which they should have kept. Mark Richt decided to go. That's fine. But Texas got rid of a African American coach for a new coach, and they're still in the same spot that they were in when they had the African American coach. Florida State
Charlie
had an
Strong.
African American coach. Yeah, Florida State had an African American coach. They got rid of that coach for a new coach, and they're still in the same position. And ain't nobody talking about their jobs. Ain't nobody to Texas when he just lost to OU again, again. But yet, Charlie Strong. I'm sorry, but yet the African American coach that was there prior to him, we had problems anytime that he would lose anything. That is so frustrating to me that teams do that. And then it's like, okay, well, the next guy gets 4 years. Okay, but you didn't give that first guy 2 years. Come on. Hey, we got anything else? I'm sorry. I've been
No,
on a
you
rant.
good. People need to hear it.
It angers me.
No, we got nothing else. If you guys got some final words for the people.
Dante, you want to go first?
Yeah, man. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hit the notification button. That's it. Appreciate
Fade.
you.
Congratulations to the king. That's all I got.
All right, man. I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Love about this is that we have an opportunity to give, what I would call is real perspective on sports. I'm tired of watching certain networks and you see certain kind of back and forth where it's like forced. It's fake. It's not real. I'm tired of football analysis or analyst guys talking about, sports. What I want to say is Tom Brady, regardless of whether he knew it was fourth down or not, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He's still a great player. Great players make bad mistakes at certain times. It's okay. It happens. Move on. Stop trying to sit here and say stuff. Stop trying to overanalyze stuff. I watched the Cowboys game today, the Chiefs game today, in which Patrick Mahomes missed a wide open tight end on a corner route, wide open. And you want to know what he said? The commentator said, oh, well, that tight end is not Travis Kelce, so therefore it's okay. But like anybody else that they don't like as a quarterback, we got problems and they need to get out of there. And is there something wrong? It irritates me to no end that people want to pick on who they want to pick on as far as make or miss or make a mistake anywhere. It's frustrating. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It's so nice to be on our end where we get to talk about sports. They get to talk about sports on ESPN. At the end of the day, nobody comes at them when they report something wrong, say something wrong, they demean somebody, or they talk about somebody disrespectfully. Period. Period. But yet, we want these guys to be perfect. No. Good players on both sides of the ball, they're all getting paid. Sometimes somebody's going to get the best of you. Period. Done.
Touch. church. And we gonna end on that note, people. So again, like, share, subscribe, and we will catch you guys next week. Peace.